Yo, this may be my movie of the year.
You're now watching The Captain.
So this review is going to be different than any prior review that I've done up until this point. Usually when I'm reviewing a movie, I go through the cinematic aspects and the things that make the movie that I notice that I really want to, can expound upon. And then I get into a plot synopsis. This is a movie where I feel like I really want to push people to go see this movie as much as possible. And that being the case, I don't think I want to spoil this movie. I think this is going to be one of the first reviews in a long time where I do a spoiler-free review. I really feel like this movie is so good that I want people to go see this movie. I want this movie to get the word of mouth that a Sinners got, or that insert X movie here that got a lot of burn because of people talking positively about it. I want this movie to be one of those movies because this movie is indeed matching those movies in regards to quality. Now, the only thing I will give you is a general overview that you get from watching the trailer. Watching this movie, you're going to learn the story of the Long Walk. In this world that we're in, it's some sort of not apocalyptic, but dystopian world, I guess is the best word for it, where in America, the economy is pretty much in the tank. And every year or every certain length amount of time, I forgot the exact amount of time, there is this thing called the Long Walk, where kids, young men more specifically, from around the country put their names into this lottery to be a part of this thing called the Long Walk. And this exactly what you would think it is. It's this long walk throughout the country where you start the walk, and if you stop, you die. The last person standing wins this walk and gets one wish of whatever they're choosing is, and untold riches. They become like one of the richest people in the country at that point in time. So we're following the journey of a bunch of different kids on this walk going through this thing that is the Long Walk, and it's pretty traumatic. To give sort of a comparison to this, if you guys are fans of anime at all, and you watch something like Akame ga Kill, which is an anime that showcases a group of characters who you learn to care about and bond over throughout the story, but by the end of the story, each and every character individually in this story get murdered as time goes on. And it serves to really tug at your heartstrings and damn near traumatize you a little bit, because you're getting connected to these characters that you learn to care about, and you don't want them to die, and they die in pretty sad ways. This movie is essentially that, where you're introduced to a bunch of young men on this long walk, and you're following their journey and seeing who survives by the end of it. It's so funny how this book was written in 1979 and it parallels so much to what we have going on today. It's just funny how Stephen King wrote that out, and maybe it was a fucking prophet that saw how things were going on. But just looking at the way this thing was shot, first and foremost, I want to speak on that. The camera work here, because I do think this camera work is very important. You do a lot in this film where it feels almost claustrophobic in a good way, where a lot of the shots are shoulder level or eye level, and you're usually pretty close up on the actors, where you're kind of getting to see them slowly like kind of come apart and come unwound as they're going on this walk. Because you got to understand the mindset that a lot of these characters are going to be in. If I told you had to go outside into whatever street your neighborhood is on in front of your house and just walk and not stop to use the bathroom, not stop to eat, you had to just keep walking and know that if you stop walking, you die. And not just walk, but you have to keep a solid pace. You have to keep a pace of 3 miles an hour. So imagine how crazy that shit is. And imagine you're getting like 300 miles in and you're encountering terrain like hills or different things like that. And imagine how hard that is. And now imagine doing that as a, maybe early 20s to 17-year-old maybe, because we had some younger kids. So this is how old these people are. They're really young, so you're already kind of like mentally not fully developed, I feel like, and then you already have something so strenuous like this to take on. It's a lot. The movie tackles a lot of aspects in regards to free will, in regards to I guess the economy and how things are going on. Because the interesting thing about this film and the concept of the Long Walk is that the Long Walk exists in this world as a way to boost the economy for the most part, and not in boosting the economy in ways of like bringing in ad revenue or like sponsorships and things like that you would normally see in something like in real life, but because it inspires the people. It's kind of this weird sense of a gladiatorial arena when you look back to ancient times in Rome, where people will go to a coliseum to see gladiators fight for your entertainment. It's sought to bring life and joy and entertainment into the people. So in this world, it seems like this event is meant to do a similar thing where it's motivating people to work harder. For the most part, everybody in this world is poor. Everybody's broke in this world, and broke as hell, to the point to where there are characters in the film where they're talking about the aspect of, did you really choose to do the long walk? They ask each other like, hey, did you know anyone ever in your life that chose to not sign up for this thing? It seems like every young man signs up for this long walk because everybody is poor and broke at this point. So having the chance of changing your life or your family's life or your community's life is something that they will always risk this thing for. So it kind of beckons the concept and the question of, if I have no option to survive, am I risking my life because I have no choice, or am I doing this because I'm taking a chance? And that's something that the movie plays around with in regards to concepts. Now, getting into the fucking acting, oh my God. I just want to run down a few of the standout performances that I really noticed in this film. First and foremost, I got to go to my guy, David Johnson. He's slowly becoming one of my favorite actors in Hollywood, and I think he has a trajectory to be like a popularity level on somebody like a Michael B. Jordan. Now, he doesn't have that, like, I guess, classically or stereotypical, like, light skin, attractive feature that most people would attribute to him. But if not Michael B. Jordan, maybe a good comparison would be somebody like the trajectory that a Jonathan Majors was on before he had his whole situation. Like, the dude is that talented. The dude is that amazing of an actor, and I really loved his performance in this film. Secondly would be the leading character, I guess the other co-lead of this film, being Cooper Hoffman. I wasn't familiar with a lot of the things he had been in up until this point. He looked relatively familiar to me, but upon looking him up when I got home, again, I don't think he's been in too many movies or any movies that I personally have watched, or maybe shows. So it was really dope to see another actor introduced to me that has a lot of talent. He is very talented in his role in this film. And there's another actor that kind of surprised me. When I first initially saw him, I was like, I know that guy. Where the fuck do I know that guy from? Then I thought back to a movie that I watched earlier this year that I didn't do any review on because I didn't think it was warranting of a review. Karate Kid, the most recent Karate Kid sequel that brought back Jackie Chan to it. Mr. Ben Wong, or Wang, I'm probably mispronouncing it however way it goes. He did a great job. And he really shocked me, and I almost didn't recognize him, because when you look at him in the Karate Kid film and then you look at him here, he's playing damn near an entirely different person. Like, yes, he looks the same, and it's not like makeup or effects that change the way he looks, but he has like this almost Boston Yankee accent that is like really thick, and it feels authentic. Again, I'm not from those areas, maybe like the Boston area, so I don't know how authentic it is. People that are from the area, let me know, but he became like a whole different person in this film, and I was really impressed at the range he has. And the last person that kind of stood out but didn't stand out, and I know I'm supposed to call out standouts here, but I was kind of disappointed in the way that Mark Hamill was handled in this film. Now, granted, I know that he is not supposed to play a significant role as a character in the film for the most part. It seems like that. I haven't read the novel, so I don't know to the extent at what his character plays in a novelization of the story, but his character was pretty much hands off. Like, if you're coming to this movie to see Mark Hamill do Mark Hamill things and do all the Joker stuff or whatever else, or the Luke Skywalker stuff, you're not going to see that. Mark Hamill has a really reserved role in this film. He's prominently here throughout the film, but it feels like either things were cut or he just wasn't written to have that many lines for the most part. They didn't even give him an actual name. Like, his name is the Major in the film, but he doesn't even have like an actual name for real. Likely supposed to be an allegory for insert powerful military controlled dictator here. And I think he did his job perfectly fine, but I just wished we could have got more from an actor of that caliber in a film like this, comparing this film to something like Sinners. I know that probably turned a lot of people off, especially a lot of my black folks that watch that movie and have a eternal love for Sinners. Like, I think Sinners at this point is like the new Django for a lot of people of different generations, where it's this super blackety black film that is amazingly well done and spoke to the culture. But when I'm looking at the films and the efficiency of the pacing of it, the depth of the writing, the performances that were put in this film, I'm not gonna lie, I may say that this movie is better than Sinners. Now, hear me out here. Sinners had a lot of hype around it. It had a lot of big name actors and directors associated with it. So when you go into a movie where it's already associated with being horror because it's Stephen King attached to it, and there's already no pre-established major megastar in it outside of Mark Hamill that everybody universally knows that's going to draw names to it, you're not going to get the same level of word-to-mouth hype for it that you did with that. And then Sinners is so stylized with the music and black culture as well that it's just, you know, black folks, when we do black things, it stands out. This movie does not have that same flair that Sinners had, but god damn it if it isn't made well and rival that film in regards to the writing and the acting, I'd be lying if I said otherwise. The performances in this movie, not just the lead two actors, but from the entire supporting cast, is exponential. I feel like Sinners was kind of top heavy. I feel like a lot of the side characters did amazing things and had amazing moments, but the side characters in this movie were damn near as important, if not more important, than the main two characters. And it made me feel for every fucking character that I saw and encountered on screen. Now, part of that maybe because it felt like this was maybe a smaller cast. I have to look at the casting in regards to both of them, but this movie just felt tighter and more efficient to me, and the deaths and the moments hit a little harder for me. I genuinely do think this movie is on par with Sinners. Now, do I think it's a clear-cut better movie? No, I will not say that. I think I lose my black card if I said that right now, but this movie is on par with that movie. Me just talking about this movie and saying it's great, it doesn't do it its own justice. And I know I'm glazing it, and it sounds like I'm glazing it, and I definitely am, but I would be really disappointed if this movie did not win some sort of reward at the Oscars this year, or somebody gets like best supporting role or something. Like, this movie needs to get something because it was amazingly well done. And I think the only other movie this year that I've seen personally that stacks up to the plate of the quality of this movie and how well made it is something like a Sinners, where the details felt very much so precise and the acting and their great performances were abundant within this film. So I've glazed it, I've talked about it a lot, and I've given a general overview. But again, if you guys are interested in this movie and kind of had an inkling of wanting to go see The Long Walk, I highly recommend that you go watch The Long Walk. Just don't bring kids, because it's really sad, it's really dark, and children probably shouldn't see this movie. This is definitely like one of those movies that are like, it's definitely rated R. Like, there's some movies where it's like, yeah, it's rated R because it has some cussing in it, maybe a spicy scene here and there. Some people can sneak in their teens to go watch it. This is not one of those. This is like sadness, sorrow, and grossness. Because, oh yeah, the practical effects, amazing. They showed us a lot of deaths in this that were really fucking like, it hit you. Like, even in my theater that wasn't packed out, it had a solid audience in it. Whenever there was a death on camera that you saw, everybody, you just felt the breath get snatched out of the theater. So again, please go watch this movie, and y'all let me know what you think about this movie in the comment section below. If you've seen it, let me know if I'm tripping. Let me know if you agree with me in its quality and how good this movie is. And again, please, if you have the money, you have the time, and you're on the fence, let me push you over the fence. Go watch The Long Walk. This has been Captain Diesel of Captain Diesel's Dojo, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. Bigger people.